Slipknot, one of the biggest bands globally, stands as a revolutionary force that has redefined the metal scene. Let's rewind to the early chaos in the 90s that birthed the groundbreaking debut album. From personal tragedies and battles with substance abuse,
one of my uncles had been murdered, and it was a gang initiation,
to gruesome recording sessions, witness the rise of one of the heaviest bands to storm the mainstream.
Today, they are one of the hottest bands in the country. Please welcome Slipknot.
A journey from the depths of despair to the iconic album that transformed heavy music forever. This is the shocking origin story of Slipknot.
I definitely got to the point where I was ready to end it all. You know, I had the razor in my hand.
Slipknot. It's world domination for this band, no other way.
It was like, you don't understand, I'm gonna make the biggest band in the world.
I was homeless for about 2 years.
I came up with wearing the mask because I didn't want people to see my real pain.
In 1992, Sean Crahan, the percussionist known as Clown, faced a devastating personal tragedy as his uncle was murdered in a violent gang initiation. Driven by the need to transform his anguish into something extraordinary, Clown had a vision for an innovative band that would shatter the confines of traditional music genres. From the ashes of tragedy marked the birth of a raw, chaotic force that was destined to revolutionize the landscape of metal. Slipknot began to take shape in the underground scene of Des Moines, Iowa, as they recorded their debut EP, Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat, in 1996. However, the band faced a pivotal moment when they parted ways with their vocalist Anders. This departure paved the way for Corey Taylor to step into the spotlight and infuse Slipknot with the fierce vocals that would define their distinctive sound. Corey Taylor's childhood was scarred by trauma, as he grew up without a father and was a victim of SA at the age of 10. By the age of 15, he spiraled into the clutches of drug addiction. One time, a teenage Corey found himself waking up in a trash can 12 miles away from home, shirtless, shoeless, and drenched in blood. Corey revealed that he had overdosed on drugs at a party. Shockingly, his friends assumed he was dead and callously abandoned him in a dumpster.
The only thing that really helped was writing. You know, like it felt like when I was writing, I could, work it out and get my head around it. It provided a way for me to kind of get that primal scream out.
At the age of 17, Corey became homeless and lived under a bridge for 2 years. During this period, he began self-harming and survived a self-termination attempt.
I was homeless off and on for about 2 years. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to do anything with my life. I was carrying my clothes around with me in a trash bag under the Southwest 9th Bridge on the south side of Des Moines. Like, it was a really, really dark time for me.
Corey Taylor's entire life had changed after he survived a self-termination attempt and watched Faith No More on the MTV Video Music Awards in 1990. My grandmother came and picked me up from the hospital. I was lying on the couch thinking, why am I doing this? I turn on the television and here comes Faith No More playing Epic. The next day, I started putting up signs in guitar places, looking for people to start bands with, and that's where it all started. Slipknot reshaped the metal landscape in the late 90s, introducing a dynamic that was both visually and sonically groundbreaking. From their iconic masks and matching jumpsuits to a 9-member lineup and a fan base known as the Maggots, they crafted a unique identity that separated them from the rest of the nu metal pack. Beyond aesthetics, Slipknot pioneered a genre-defining onslaught, blending elements of nu metal, death metal, hip-hop, thrash, and industrial. In 1998, Slipknot signed to Roadrunner Records and relocated to California to record their self-titled album at Indigo Ranch Studios. The band was in a state of poverty, addiction, and self-destruction during the recording process. The gruesome studio environment became a symbol of the band's chaotic approach to their music. Producer Ross Robinson, known for his work with Korn and Limp Bizkit, played a significant role in amplifying the disturbing atmosphere. Notorious for his violent and torturous in-studio techniques, Ross pushed the band members to their limits and aimed to capture the aggression and intensity of their live performances. He reportedly made Corey Taylor throw up in the vocal booth, threw pot plants at Joey Jordison, and forced Chris Fane to blow with 2 gallons of water to achieve a unique sound from his stomach. Joey Jordison said, "Ross is the most intense person I've ever met in my life besides the 9 of us. Ross had me pounding that kit so hard that my hands were bleeding, and that was when we were just setting up the drum levels. My hands were covered in these bloody bandages." The relentless assault eventually took a toll on Corey, who admitted, "By the end, I was literally broken completely in half and wide open and bawling. The vocal booth I was recording in was so nasty. There was a dead mouse in there, there was blood all over the place because the last guy to use it, Amen's Casey Chaos, cut himself while he was singing. Then I would sing and vomit all over the place. You could feel that on the song Scissors. That was the height of the nastiness. The smell of death in there was really getting to me." Paul Gray said, "Ross wanted it to come across like how we played live. So as we were standing there playing riffs, he would push us and knock the guitars out of our hands and yell, 'You can play that shit harder.' Next thing you know, we're moving around and playing our asses off, and that's how we got the aggression on that first album."
We have a song called Surfacing, and there's a line in that song that says, "Don't ever judge me." If there was anything that I thought had to be on my gravestone, or that I felt that we preached, it would be that statement.
Slipknot completely transformed the metal scene when they released their self-titled album on June 29th, 1999. From death growls, blast beats, and visceral riffs to turntable scratches, electro samples, and rapping, there was no other band out there that sounded anything like Slipknot. Within months, the album skyrocketed to become one of Roadrunner Records' most successful albums of all time. Peaking at number 51 on the Billboard 200, with 3 wins at the 2000 Kerrang! Awards and a Grammy Award nomination in 2001, Slipknot were an unstoppable force that took the world by storm. The album went on to become certified double platinum in the United States, securing its place as Slipknot's best-selling record to date. Despite the heavy and aggressive nature of their music, Slipknot exploded into the mainstream spotlight.
My next guest began playing together 5 years ago in their native Des Moines, Iowa. Today, they are one of the hottest bands in the country. Please welcome Slipknot.
What does Slipknot mean to you, Paul?
It's my life, yeah. That's it. It's everything.
Their presence reached new heights with live performances on The Conan O'Brien Show, widespread radio play, and appearances on MTV. To put into perspective just how massive of a band Slipknot was, the video for Wait and Bleed was in heavy rotation on TRL, alongside icons like Britney Spears and Blink-182. In the early 2000s, there were no other heavy bands like Slipknot that had mainstream status. Slipknot were one of the only bands who were dominating the radio waves and topping the Billboard charts with songs full of blast beats and death growls. From that point on, Slipknot were determined to bring their music to all corners of the globe. They initiated their world domination tour in November 1999 and secured a main stage spot at Ozfest in 2001. Renowned for their electrifying stage presence, the band's early live performances were characterized by extreme theatrics and chaotic energy. Clown had a bizarre ritual of keeping a dead bird in a jar, which the band would inhale before shows to immerse themselves in the Slipknot mindset. They even brought the jar on stage with them, and at one show, their fans pulled the decaying bird out of the jar and ate it.
And then the kids started sticking their hands in it and pulling the gelatinous stuff out. It had been fermenting and building over like months, and they started eating it.
As disturbing as the story may be, Slipknot at least knew how to lean into their persona and gain some publicity. While Slipknot was playing a show on Valentine's Day in Amsterdam, a fan gifted the band a real cow heart that was presented inside a Valentine's box. While on tour with Cold Chamber, Joey Jordison regularly doused his drums in lighter fluid and set them ablaze. However, one night the flames caught him too, leaving him with third-degree burns. During a concert in Germany, Sid Wilson leaped off a balcony, but the crowd failed to catch him, resulting in him hitting the floor and breaking 2 ribs. Despite the pain, Sid refused bed rest and instead used a rib brace, back support, and inhalers to continue performing at upcoming shows. While their self-titled album was released 24 years ago from the date of this video, this record stands as a timeless classic. It not only revolutionized the metal scene, but served as a gateway, introducing millions to the world of heavy music and influencing generations of musicians across diverse genres. Today, bands are still chasing and attempting to recreate the innovative sound on this album. Following this success, Slipknot returned to the studio to craft their follow-up record, Iowa, a masterpiece that catapulted the band to new heights. Don't miss out on the next chapter of Slipknot's journey in part 2. Stay tuned by subscribing to Echoes of Icons and join us as we dive deep into the story of Iowa. Thank you for watching. Please smash that like button and subscribe for future videos on pop culture icons.